find a
show.
good gift for live, saying that we're going live. Oh, it's Krampus night. Did you know that?
Krampus night? It's tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. How do you celebrate Krampus night?
You punish naughty children.
Oh, well, I guess we can punish our viewers. That's basically the same thing. There we go.
They definitely are. Sorry, I didn't think about that. I was trying to find a good grip
No, you're
gift
good.
to attach to this. Yes, they definitely deserve punishment.
Yes, they do.
It's like one of my favorite Michael Malice quotes is that everybody who votes gets the punishment they deserve.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. Michael Malice.
So yeah, you're subjugated to us.
Yes.
I can't find the stream. Oh well, I mean, obviously I could just click on the link that I reblogged on
You could.
tumblr.com.
Yes, you
That would be
could.
easy.
Yes. That is the purpose of a link on a website on tumblr.com.
Death Chilada on time, sorta.
Sorta, actually. No, yeah, man. Like, yeah. Aren't you proud of us? We're getting a little
Hey,
better.
hey, yeah.
This time. This time. This time.
Should we pre-show for a minute longer? Or?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna do the intro because like everything I want to talk about is like main topics. Like, there's no.
Yep,
It's all meat and
just send it.
potatoes. Let's just gonna send it. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 160 of The Altar. We have a lot of shit to talk about. Of course, there is the episode title, She Suck on My Yeon Till I Slide Malfunction in Her Yoon. We tried to also incorporate something about Hunter Biden in there. Originally, it was going to be like, Pardon Her Yoon, but just an assassination in general is just way more exciting. So we decided to go with that. So I think that's probably what we'll kick off with, just because like that's the hot topic right now. The CEO of United Healthcare in downtown Manhattan yesterday morning, I believe, was gunned down by some masked vigilante with a suppressed handgun of some sort that started a little bit of a debate on Tumblr as to what the fuck exactly he was using. But again, gunned down in the middle of the fucking streets in New York City. And there's lots of theories about why. So I think. Oh, he also. So the other thing about it too, there were those bullet casings they found on the ground at the scene that says, what was it? Deny, defend, depose, which is like supposed to be like the health insurance company strategy for dealing with patients and not paying out for patients. So it kind of sounds like somebody who maybe their family member was sick or they got sick and tried to get health insurance and they were denied coverage for whatever reason, and they were engaging in some good old vigilantism because, like I said in the episode description, it turns out people do have names and addresses, and once you figure that out, well, I don't know. I guess things happen.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. As I have said or as I've noticed, we're all noticers around
Mm-hmm.
here, right?
Serial noticers.
As serial noticers, and as we've noticed, the rate of mass shootings at schools is way too damn high,
Mm-hmm.
and the rate of important assassinations is way too low. Like if there's this many like mentally ill, really upset people in America with access to guns that they're going to shoot up schools, like at what point is it not just like a psyop to take away our guns instead of why don't they never go after somebody important? Now obviously we had two Trump assassination attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Um and that got very very um close and credible, and we have this assassination attempt, or not even an attempt,
It's
just an
success.
actual assassination.
It's good.
um
Sorry.
oh, Um, Thursday night football here.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, go Lions.
and yeah, actually, go Lions. So one thing I would note is that only the first Trump shooters seem to have like a remotely competent weapon system.
Yeah, only one who really came close. Like, well, I mean, the attempt, the last one, obviously that was successful, but
No,
like,
so it's funny to me that it was successful, but the guy was using he some people are like, oh, he didn't have the right ammo for the
oh
pistol,
man.
or was it a B&T well rod or
So
B&T
that's
Station 6 or
actually,
something like
I
that?
read a news article a little bit earlier today that it says they got a rumor that the police might think it was a B&T Station 6, which is basically like a modernized well rod, because they were watching the video and they were like, because he keeps doing this and like his palm hits the pistol and like he's pulling it back, but like that could also just be like I was theorizing with rifle brass that he probably just got like some homemade suppressor from like a parts kit, or like he 3D printed something cheap and it just directly threaded onto the barrel and he didn't have a piston for it. So there was nothing to
There's
like.
no Nielsen device, which
Exactly,
is
yeah.
yeah a booster. So because yeah, recoil operated pistol, it needs additional velocity to compensate for the mass of the suppressor on the end of the barrel. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
Especially too, since a lot of these modern recoil systems in these semi-autos, the barrel will tilt a little bit while the
mhm.
slide's going back. And if that doesn't like, if it can't because the suppressor's just doing too much, it's not going to cycle. And if you look at that video, his first shot, you see a shitload of gas come up out of the top of that handgun. Like there's
Oh
this
yeah.
little cloud of just, and then he's like clearing the malfunction. But the thought was he knew that was going to happen, which is why he was able to get through them so quickly, and also possibly like he did it on purpose to eject the shells that said deny, defend, depose or something. I don't know. It's that's kind of cool. Like honestly, like not
I
advocating that at all, but it's like okay, that's neat.
I'll say, if you train for if you train pistol failures
Mm-hmm,
on range, you can get remarkably fast and efficient at overcoming them.
mm-hmm.
Now it especially helps when your target's unarmed, right?
Yeah, and it's facing
And
away
they were
from you.
shooting back to you at you or whatever. Um, but I mean, probably the first shot was fatal, right? Like
Probably.
right center of mass through his back. He instantly fell over. It might have severed his spine for all we know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he put a couple more in him. It seemed to me like the recoil was such that it is a semi-automatic pistol
Mm-hmm.
that just failed to function
That's
because
what I'm thinking.
he doesn't just draw the slide back and like let it go.
Mm-hmm.
He's also like doing
Like
some
tapping.
like forward taps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
um he might have got a legit suppressor and again just direct threaded it on without a
Mm-hmm.
Nielsen device. He might have had, subsonic, combine that with subsonic ammo. Although we'll see if they, pull it up, pull it, and say, oh yeah, I was using, regular hollow points, or he
Or
just used
something. Yeah.
FMJ or something like that. Um, but yeah, it's just interesting that like no assassin has like what would like even if you just like casually asked like a gun guy at a gun store, um not like, and you could rephrase the assassination as like anything, if you were moderately intelligent. This is the thing, is like none of these assassins are even like think it seems like this one thought a few things ahead, but like none of
I
them
mean,
are like super intelligent, it seems.
no evil masterminds here. It's just like some freaks who like. Well, I guess we'll see about this one, but like the other ones, usually like, oh, they're just freakazoids in an online chat room who get like groomed by some FBI agent, and like otherwise they're very like sub unremarkable people who
Yeah.
normally just can't get it together. Like the first Trump assassin again came the closest of any Trump assassin or attempt or whatever, and like that was really just pure
That was dumb
chance.
luck.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was dumb luck for Trump on that
yeah.
part. But I would say like if he had gotten like a good scope, and like even had the basic training to always aim center mass, Trump's
Different
dead.
story. Trump, different story. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny to me that okay, and let's be real about this. This is a healthcare CEO.
Yeah.
We all know who is cheering, like celebrating the shit out of this online,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not who's Sean Hannity
No.
types, okay?
No, it's not.
So
It's
um
it's
we
on
we have
Piker types.
it's just non-piker types, and the sorry, I keep umming and stuttering and stuff like that.
No, you're good.
I'm just trying to phrase things correctly without getting back on an FBI visit or something like that. We all know that assassination in America in 2024 seems to be a one-way street,
Mm,
and that's true for a while, right? Like go back to the baseball shooting,
yeah.
the congressional baseball shooting when they shot Steve Scalise and they shot at Rand Paul and all those other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a Bernie bro, like an old a boomer Bernie bro.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
again with an
still,
SKS,
which
they
is
they
yeah.
just can't afford a nice rifle. um, but yeah, it's only leftists are successful at assassinating so far in
I
or
was
even attempting. Like I don't even know like a right wing assassination attempt that's been credible
I
for
I was thinking
decades.
about that earlier today. Like right now, like there's people on both sides really who are like celebrating this dude. Like, what if it comes out that he's actually like some like Anders Breivik type of individual, and they're just like, oh shit, oh man, like. Yeah, you were denying health care. You were also denying it possible to guarantee a future for white children. And everyone's like, whoa, hold on, disavow, disavow. Because we don't know yet. Like, they released pictures of the dude. He
Mhm.
looks pretty Caucasian. From one angle, he kind of looked like Desmond from Assassin's Creed, which is kind of funny to me. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, he kind of looked like Yemra.
oh, and speaking of which, where is
Where's that
Yimra?
guy?
Where is Yimra? Yimra, you
We
need an alibi, man. Like, where have you been?
we need an alibi from Yemra's stat.
Seriously, man.
Um, but I think a lot of people look like Yemra. But yeah, like
Especially
vaguely
in New York City.
swarthy, like Italian.
Yeah,
Maybe I don't know. He
maybe
could
North
have some
African, Italian, could be Greek,
like Middle Eastern heritage, Lebanese guy or whatever.
Turkish. Yeah,
But yeah, going after a healthcare CEO and having all that written on the like casings and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, Now, did you see like the mugshot that they or not mugshot, the alleged like CCTV photo
yeah.
of him at like the hostel?
And he's just
But
like,
and I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's the same guy. The backpack's different.
hmm,
Um, the jacket's a little off to me, like the color and everything. It could just be some different guy who also was wearing a hoodie around or whatever. Um, but like it's uh, interesting. Maybe look at the like Shinzo Abe incident again. Like I guess he had no like intention of really getting away with it. Because like the former prime minister has actual security and stuff like that. But this guy like he just rides away on one of those like city scooters and then like gets on a
and
subway
just
and
disappears.
then like allegedly gets to a hostel or something like that. And it's like, you know what? If he just tosses that gun off camera in the Hudson, which I'll find a lot of guns in the bottom of the Hudson,
Seriously, man.
but they if he just tosses that gun in the right place, they'll never find it.
Exactly. And then you
And
got nothing on him.
yeah, and then who knows? He's got some excuse. Oh, I was hunting in upstate and on the cabin property. And he probably drove there and then, had another car parked somewhere and drove out a different road. There he could be legitimately like smart about
He
all this
could, yeah.
stuff and
He could have
completely
secretly
get away
invited
with
a
it.
friend. So he could have been at this cabin up in upstate New York. He could have secretly invited one of his friends over who like played on his Xbox or his PS5 all night. So it looked like he was actually playing games in this cabin all night, miles
Yeah,
away. And while
yeah.
reality, he's coming up behind this dude and he's just pow, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's you'll never know. You'll never know.
But it's interesting because or I shouldn't say it's interesting per se, but it has been fascinating
Yeah.
to watch like the true crime like crowd like come out simultaneous with like the there's the Piker. What do you even call the Hassan people? I mean,
Leftoids.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. And yeah, like the Hassan Piker style people who are just like all over it and like they got some decent memes about it.
no, they definitely do. Yeah, claims to be
Um,
pro health, dies anyway.
um, but like, yeah, it's it's interesting that we have such a one-way street on assassination. I
Hmm.
think it's because institutionally few right wingers hold power.
Hmm.
Um, and I like that's the thing. I just can't legitimately think of like a right wing um or what sorry, I should reverse that. Um I think like the right wing is completely like brain fucked about um power
Hmm.
structures in the United States. That they don't conceive of political like that was what I think freaked leftists so much out about January 6th, right? Is that they finally got a reverse taste of like what a right wing that plays by the rules that the left plays by would be
Hmm.
like. And so that's why it's like the worst thing since Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined.
Yeah.
Um, and they're literally saying that, and they literally believe that, and that is true to them because they're like, oh shit, if like right wingers really embrace political violence, like it is done so
Hmm.
quickly for us.
That
And I'm
joke
not
has been
encouraging
made
that.
several times that like we wish the right wing was as violent as the left wing makes us out to be because shit would get done. Like,
Oh, it wouldn't. It would be horrible, right? Like I
yeah,
don't want to live in Sarajevo in 1992 or whatever.
absolutely not. No, no, that would be
Um,
bad. But however,
it'd be insanely horrible. But and like it's just like I'm just making a note, an observation
yeah,
about it. Obviously, if anybody's telling you to hurt, break any law, they are fed.
exactly.
Um,
Do not fall
and
for that shit. They are not looking out for your
well,
best
okay,
interest.
here's the thing, like right wing terrorism or whatever. What's the last big example, right? The Whitmer kidnapping case,
But like most of
right?
the people
And that was all
involved in that,
fed.
like mostly vets. Yeah, exactly.
It was just a giant entrapment case with a couple of guys with like room temperature IQ as patsies. And you could go back and like look at what's the other big examples? Waco
Hmm.
and
So I wouldn't really count
Oklahoma City bombing and stuff
Oklahoma
like
City
that.
bombing. I would count that. I wouldn't count Waco because Waco is more defensive. Honestly, like
Oh,
Oklahoma
sure.
City was like surely like an actual attack.
No,
Like,
I'm just saying from a leftist perspective, they're
okay,
gonna
yeah. Mm.
if you ask them like, oh, bring up what is an example of right wing terrorism and violence, political violence, and they would probably, if you pressed them past, Oklahoma City and stuff like that, they would bring up Ruby Ridge and they would bring
Hmm.
up there was the Bundy Ranch stuff
I
too.
remember that. Yeah.
So but the thing is, it's just like if the right wingers have all these guns and they like are the actual shooting culture and like no they're most of the veterans,
Mm.
let's be honest, like the actual combat veterans and stuff like that.
Mm.
um they if things were to get violent, they would escalate quickly for them, right? Like they're not like they don't like casually escalate violence
Yeah.
when they get there, right? Like there's a huge barrier for right wing people to attempt violence, and I think OKC like really tainted um the flavor there. Like Clinton pardoned, so, remember simultaneous with all of the OKC bombing and McVeigh and everything like that, Clinton pardoned all of the Weather Underground people,
Hmm.
which it was like okay, so yeah, it's a one way street in America.
I thought of another
Again,
event. There
I'm
was
not
the
saying like political violence is the thing to do.
no,
It is not the thing to do. I'm just saying, making observation about uh, how this has been playing out, and I think it's really weird. Um, and I believe at this point we can almost count on this guy being like a probably if they ever find out what he's like, at most he'll be um some like uh what's his name? Uh Uncle Ted Kaczynski.
oh Kaczynski,
At
yeah.
most he'll have read like Kaczynski as his furthest right wing guy, which like Kaczynski's pretty white ring, but not like all the way there.
Mhm.
He'll be a Bernie bro slash Hassan Piker or a AOC or something like that, and he'll think, and secretly in a back room, AOC is like laughing at a meme like that you just talked about, like, oh,
Mhm.
get pro healthcare dies anyway or something like that. She's exactly that kind of person. Um, so, anyways, yeah. Here, why don't you say something so you can validate that I do not belong on any FBI watch list? Again, never commit any crime.
No, of
If
course
somebody tells you to commit a crime, they are fed, and you are just going to spend a long time looking at a wall.
we got him.
Um,
Um, what I was actually going to bring up, just another event, like not that it's one that far back, like for some reason the Charlottesville incident where the dude drove his Dodge Challenger into that crowd,
oh
and it
yeah,
was like, oh
that
my
was right
god,
wing
this is like
terrorism.
9/11, and like it was just like some fat girl had like a heart attack and died, and like that was like the one incident.
Yeah,
But they got him on so much shit.
it was just a guy like trying to get through like a crowd he wasn't expecting, right? Like
Yeah.
had no idea that the protest was even happening. And then oh, what's another example? That couple in Missouri that had like the AR and the little pistol and there was the Black Lives Matter
Oh yeah,
protests.
yeah. They came outside with the AR and like she's like on the phone crying with like the handgun. Like yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
They were like two lawyers.
They were yeah.
Nobody got shot, but they did get like they got charged with some kind of brandishing or some
They
shit
got to
like
get some bullshit misdemeanor charge and they got their firearms confiscated by the local police. That was like the most that happened.
that. And I think the funny thing is that like the pistol in question was like um one they had used in a trial and it had like the firing pin removed, but like it was a demonstration pistol for like some case they were trying.
Oh man.
Um okay, but here's an example where people died. Rittenhouse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was all that right wing terrorism.
For
And,
sure.
in an abstract form, in their perspective, it's legitimately was. And I believe them when they think it is right wing terrorism. I don't think that's as nuanced as it really was. But I think if you were to try to explain it to anybody who's not an American right winger, it's kind of hard to convince them that like you know if you have a paramilitary armed young man in the middle of a riot who happens to shoot three people, um that it's not partisan violence of some type. You'd have a hard time convincing them, right?
Yeah.
Like we hear about this shit all the time, or that's
Like
something
if
that
we were to
you could
explain
say
this
word
to
for word in Syria right now.
if you were to explain this to somebody who's like Irish, for example, they would go, "Oh, the troubles. You're having the troubles," and we're like, "Sure, okay, I guess, yeah."
Yes,
Like,
that is accurate.
also, I mean, I guess if you think about it from a certain perspective, it is absolutely terrifying to know that your angry mob can absolutely be stopped by one boy, essentially, with an AR-15. Like that's all a DPMS AR-15, nonetheless. Not even like we're not even talking like a Daniel defense or anything like that or something good. It's just DPMS. It's like middle of the road, probably slightly better than Palmetto State, but not by much. And effective. 2 kills, three confirmed like casualties, like effective.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he place? It was something like 4 hits and 5 shots in like as many seconds, basically.
I
Like
think so, yeah.
I know it was all at extremely close range, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still just, and while he's getting assaulted, like shit thrown at him, um, people are swinging skateboards at his head. Somebody just pulled a gun on him, and he has like the wherewithal to like land that shot and disable his like
His
shooting arm
arm,
and
yeah.
everything.
I would also
I
like to point out that dude who pulled the gun on him was like pretending to be an EMT and was gonna like execute his ass. Do you remember that? He had the hat on
Yeah,
that said
I do.
EMT. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
and
I
he had
think
he
that's
had blue gloves and
yeah,
shit.
blue
I mean,
gloves.
so did Rittenhouse,
So
but
to Rittenhouse, yeah, but he didn't have any. But like I think like that's some sort of like international criminal like war criminal thing. Like if you pose as like a medical unit and then you execute somebody who's like not actively trying to kill you, it's like a war crime or some shit. Like that's interesting way that like that's what that makes me think about, that's the comparison we're making to like something that would be normally judged to be a war crime happening in the streets of the United States, but
yeah,
also
it's
it's like
Al Nusra front with the white helmets coming in
yeah,
and
but like
finishing.
this dude just got away with it. Like he had to testify at trial, but for the most part, like I don't really think he got into any repercussions whatsoever. And I think he's a felon. Like I think he has a like a registered B&E
Yeah,
record that's like pretty lengthy, goes back several years. Like he cannot have a firearm. I didn't see him get punished. I didn't see any trial for him. Like,
yeah.
but
Well, I mean, this is the same thing for like the Daniel Penny case, right? Which is another New York happening
yes,
that
yes.
we could have mentioned. Now, I was slightly hoping that the verdict would have finished by now, but they're like in day two of deliberations.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been following this at all?
Admittedly, not a whole lot. Like, I knew the trial was going on, but like, I just expected I was going to see some news headline at some point about it, and that would be that.
But do you know the background
Yeah,
of
he
it?
was the one. There was like some dude on a subway who was like freaking out and like threatened to kill people in like the subway car. So he put him in a headlock, and the dude was like fighting him. So he like choked him out, and he died. And he was arrested for manslaughter, I believe, right? Or was it
Hmm.
actual? Yeah, okay. So it's interesting they got him for manslaughter. Like
Yeah.
that's
So a couple notes on that. Um, the guy was still alive when he released him from the headlock.
ah
The uh, police arrived, said he was still alive, but did not want to render any aid
hmm,
because he was too smelly and gross, and they didn't want to get AIDS.
that's fair
Um,
actually. Yeah.
and then the coroner had originally marked the cause of death, Neely cause of death. Um, um, though, so there there was some testimony to the fact that they had God, I'm trying to find this.
Was it like they found drugs in his system or something? Or
Yeah, there was synthetic marijuana.
hmm,
He had sickle cell anemia.
hmm.
Um, he was struggling under restraint, and he had synthetic marijuana, basically caused a cardiac death. So it was not. He did
Ah,
not die of asphyxiation. He had basically a heart attack.
interesting.
But the coroner, after watching the video, ruled it a death by strangulation, like by compression of the neck. Which is like, how's that legal?
Yeah, like wouldn't you just find
Shouldn't the
that
coroner like
evidence?
look at the body and be that it should be blind? They should independently come to a cause of death,
Yeah.
and then, yeah. So that way it's like, you're supposed to corroborate evidence independently and stuff like that. That's the point of having an independent coroner that's not just like a police detective
Mhm.
on the scene or whatever. Um, so yeah, it's kind of fucked up that it ever went to trial. And it's funny or sad that Neely had like 42 priors, and while he was on that subway, he had a warrant out for his arrest for assaulting somebody on a subway. Now,
Oh.
now the prosecutor lets this man go over and over and over again and lets him menace, society at large. And then if you're the guy who restrains somebody, knows how to perform a proper blood choke, because he's clearly got him in a good rear naked, and
Mm,
you a blood choke, you're just cutting off blood flow. It takes like 8 seconds. They fall asleep. They wake up almost instantly after you slap them in the face because the blood flow returns. You're not cutting off their air; their
mm.
blood's still oxygenated, which is why it's safer to do a blood choke in a rear naked. You're just compressing the arteries. Their blood's still oxygenated, so as soon as the flow resumes, they regain consciousness typically very quickly. I mean, you've never seen. I don't recall anybody in the UFC dying from over your naked chokehold or anything like that's been. So, anyways, so yeah, it was. You as a Marine with absolutely no priors,
Mm.
you're on a subway. You leave a living man. He didn't when he got pulled in by the police. He knew he would probably get pulled in by the police, right? He didn't know that Neely died because he
Mm.
died after the fact, and he was just saying, "Oh, I acted in self defense. I was trying to protect people around me, everything like that." And it's like, okay, so if you are Jordan Neely and you're assaulting people on the subway, it's just free reign. But if you act in self defense, you have no record. You're going to get the book thrown at you. You're going to get basically a death sentence in Rikers. Might just be a manslaughter charge where he's in prison for 3 or 5 years or whatever. I don't know what the maximum sentence guidelines are for New York or New York City on that. But knowing how politicized this case is, like that man will not get out of Rikers.
Probably not. No, he'll be targeted very quickly.
So it's you can only hope that they don't. They've been in deliberations for like 3 days, and I think what's happening is there's one, maybe hopefully two or more
Mm.
jurors who are hung on it, like are going to vote not guilty,
Hopefully.
and they're requesting testimony back and evidence back from the court during deliberations during all this. So I'm really hopeful that they either get a hung jury and they have to do a retrial, which they deserve one. Did you know during the entire trial, the prosecutor did not refer but to Penny as his name almost any of the time.
Didn't he refer to him as the white man?
The white man.
Wow.
Now imagine any other case in this nation being tried where the prosecutor only refers to the defendant as the black man.
Oh, that would go over perfectly fine. Are you kidding me?
Any other case being prosecuted by a state or a city prosecutor.
Wow. Good lord. Only in fucking New York, man, would that shit happen.
I mean, they just need a mistrial for that alone.
Yeah.
But hopefully he can survive long. Hopefully, a the jury is hung. They, I don't think. Do they get to try it again,
They
or does it depend
do.
on how many vote each way
I
or whatever?
don't know for sure. I think like they can do a new trial, but like there's certain rules about what evidence they can resubmit or something like that, or what conclusions the jury is allowed to reach, or something like they're like confined in their scope post mistrial, where it makes it extremely difficult for the prosecution to like continue if like it was based on is like some core evidence that otherwise the case wouldn't even be in court. But I don't know for sure. Like I'm also not an expert on New York court systems, but we should also consider the other two topics we were going to talk about because we could get lost on assassinations all night. We also got coups to talk about.
Oh yes, yes, fun times, exciting times. Oh, and the front in Ukraine and Syria is opening up really
Oh
wide.
yes,
We
so
can
we'll
talk
get
about that for a minute too.
yes we'll go internet. That'll be part of our international segment, I would say. So in South Korea, this is the big one also that happened. 2 days ago, the president attempted to launch a military coup that lasted for like 2 hours, 3 hours before the South Korean parliament literally stormed their own building and went in and voted against martial law, which seems very funny to think about how you have this armed revolution happening where you're like installing a military dictatorship, perhaps, and Parliament just goes in and votes no, and like all the soldiers are just like, oh fuck, all right, sorry, and like my bad, and they all just go home, and
This is
like,
what you get for having a conscript army. And he thought he could get a I don't know if the thought was just like, oh, it'll be like 3 in the morning.
mm,
Nobody will have time to react to this. And the soldiers won't know what's going on either. So even if they're not like really committed ideologically to it, which they aren't, um, I mean that's what it comes down to ultimately. If it's a weird argument almost in favor of, well, it depends on your perspective, right? Of a professional army versus a conscript army,
mm-hmm,
is that it's if you had a professional army and they have ideological tilts, especially in specific units that you can count on, like a colonel or something like that, you could bring them in
mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh yeah, I declared martial law and heads will roll. Like these guys know what the plan is, or like we're on the same page. The soldiers were not on the same page. There's like a reporter like pulling on like the rifle of this guy, and it's
Like,
like,
how dare you?
how dare you? The
There was
Greta
I
Thunberg
saw that
line.
there's this other video where there's like a couple of soldiers walking towards the crowd and they put their hands out to try to push him back. And this one dude in the crowd, what cell phone in one hand, takes the dude's arm and twists it around his back. And the soldier immediately turns around and goes, "Okay, I surrender. Nope, I'm sorry." Like they didn't want to be there either, really. Like they all of a sudden probably got the idea. They're just like, "Oh shit, are we the bad guys right now? I didn't. I don't want to be the bad guys."
And
This,
to be fair, this is exactly how the Soviet Union fell, because the um political officers and the president or premier or whatever he was,
Mhm.
um they're all like, okay, we got to start rolling out the tanks and start shooting the protesters and stuff like that. And the KGB officers were just like,
Mm,
nah,
nah,
no, it's not happening.
nah.
Initially, so I remember there was a story specifically about like in Lithuania, like they were gonna like they had like a loyal colonel who was gonna go out and stop the protest and the overthrow of the Lithuanian SSR. And he initially radios back. He's like, okay, yeah, we'll do the orders. And then they rolled out and they saw the protesters and they're like, we're not doing
We're
this.
not
Fuck
doing
this.
this. Fuck this shit.
And that was it. I mean, when the soldiers stop deciding to shoot, or when the soldiers decide not to shoot, that's when it's over.
Yeah.
In reality, I mean, the leftists kind of have this. I mean, they overthrew the British Empire this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like India didn't fire a shot. It's cool and as funny as Triple R is to watch. Very few shots were fired
Yeah.
in overthrowing the British Raj. And so like, it seems to work when like you just got popular support, and if the soldiers aren't on board
It's
and it
not.
doesn't happen,
It doesn't
I
happen.
I would be curious to see the reverse stats, is like when the soldiers are on board, how often does it work even then?
Mm.
Because like I can't think of a good example, like maybe Franco in Spain, and
Yeah.
like Perón in Argentina. Oh yeah, obviously Pinochet.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
You just get a few loyal regiments that can defend the capital. Oh, what about the Burma one too? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So there's examples of some like cohesive military coups. I mean, obviously it happens all the time in sub-Saharan Africa.
Of course.
Um, I just can't off the top of my head say exactly everything that's happened.
I
I
wonder
know
how General
like
Barbecue is doing right now.
that's not a military coup. That's something else.
Guess well.
Um, something. I mean, there's no way to describe Haiti, and a cohesive way. I'm
Mm,
trying to think. I had this thought, and all condolences to Marcel Gautreau, our great esteemed friend, Anarchy in Black. Um, but I was out actually on a sunset hike today,
mm,
and I saw a majestic coyote running on the ridge line. It saw us and ran away,
mm.
and I was just like, man, I think I care more about that one coyote than I do the entire nation of Haiti.
That's fair. That is very fair
I mean,
because
I'm not saying I don't love um uh Marcel and some other contributions from Haiti and Haitians and everything like that. It's just like on a day-to-day basis. Anyways,
yeah,
just a thought I had today when I thought about Haiti.
oh,
Um,
oh. I'm sure he would actually appreciate the sentiment. Like he could see the logical rationale.
I'm just thinking like my animal friends, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, oh, how much effort would I go to preserve like wild animal friend, my majestic brethren who I share the mountains with, versus how much do I like dedicate time to like people, uh, in a civil war fighting, or I mean, really just in gang warfare. That's an entire country.
Mm,
Um, like I don't dedicate a lot of thought to it. And like I probably would emotionally feel worse about the coyote, like
mm.
somebody like shot it, right in front of me and it wasn't attacking anything. Like obviously I'd shoot the coyote if it was attacking me,
Of
but
course.
you it's not really what coyotes do.
Mm,
Um so but it's like how many people probably like got murdered in Haiti today? I have no idea.
mm.
Um but like somebody like there was like a coyote shoot in my county, and I was like, "Oh, man, I'm kind of upset about that. I don't like that.
In
I gotta do something about that.
you can get
Like, why do we have
bounties.
to kill all the coyotes?"
You can get bounties out here in Utah. Like if you just get like their jawbone or paw, that you can
Hmm.
you just turn those in. And like I have people come into my store sometimes and like certain times of year they're like, yeah, just got me a bunch of coyote bounties and buy my girl promise ring. I'm just like, okay, man, come right this way, dude.
I get that they're a nuisance pest, and that's even what I was thinking while I
Mm,
was like thinking this. I was like, oh, coyote, they don't have a natural predator. We don't have wolves,
mm,
and we don't have enough wolves to keep the coyote population down. So like humans have to control the population. But yet, like I feel it's a little unsavory to like just wantonly kill coyotes for sport, right? Because I mean, they're almost a dog. They can interbreed with dogs. Um, Technically, there's just one race, the dog race.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Did
Oh,
you?
okay, but so we did we talk all coups?
No,
Oh,
we.
France. Did you read? Did you catch France at all?
I caught a little bit about there was a vote of no confidence in the French government. I guess they. Oh shit! It's Matt. They
It's
deposed.
Matt.
Yeah, what up? What's up, dude?
What up?
Thanks for
We
the
were
audio.
we were just talking about the complete
What's up, boys?
failure
You're
of the
on over
French
here.
government. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. You know, I got my wine. My wife's walking over. You want to get on this podcast, maybe?
Hell yeah.
Whatever. Good stuff. Okay. Guess what, Diana? You're about it now. All right.
Keep freezing. Oh, he froze. Did she
Matt's coming.
disconnect the internet on you?
Oh, that's hilarious. Matt's coming to us live from Haiti.
Okay. Um, okay. Can be our variety round. Christmas presents for Biden and for Trump. Even Harris, if you have
Oh,
one.
oh yeah. So that was the question. Like, if we were had to buy a, we had to buy a gift for either Biden or Trump. Let's see. So for Trump, what would I get for Trump? A custom level 4 plate carrier. Well, the plates would be level 4 in the plate carrier, but a custom like golden Trump plate carrier that he can wear under his suit. And he could show it off if he wanted to, or he could just wear a button up over it. But like, it'll fit under his suit. It'll also fit under a McDonald's apron very well. So whatever he's doing at the time, a safety vest if he happens to be driving a garbage truck, or if
Yeah.
he happens to turn
Oh,
himself
dude,
into a
so
worm and he starts driving a small apple around the Washington D.C.
what are you
area.
guys talking about?
Now we're talking about
Um,
Trump, and then we were
By
talking.
Apple, do you mean RFK Jr.'s brain?
Yes, I do that
I'm,
worm.
sorry I was late because I was trying to say, look, the flight from New York was a little longer than expected.
Oh,
Back to my location.
Matt, thank you for your service. However, it's
Oh,
pretty
no problem.
amazing that you were able to
No
like
problem.
regrow your beard as quickly when they got you on camera, because you were clean shaven like
Yeah.
yesterday.
No, dude. Oh, they actually catch the guy?
No, they didn't catch him yet, but like they have photos of his face and he's like clean shaven.
I don't know if it's the same person.
Maybe,
I'm not
maybe
convinced.
it's
Okay,
possible.
yeah,
Unconfirmed.
anything's possible. You know? So whatever. Oh, what are we doing here? So, anyways,
So, anyways,
yeah. So I'm here. You know. So what's what's the topic of conversation right
so
now?
right now the topic of conversation is if you are in any respective presidential cabinet, like either Biden or Trump, what and you were their Secret Santa, what would you get, Biden or Trump for Christmas? That's the topic right now.
I would get Biden one of those Polaroid cameras, so like Memento, so you take pictures and make notes. Don't like.
That's a good one.
Well,
That's a good one.
dude. Like, it was like I put my other earbud here, but like no, like it's like because like the whole thing they're talking about, or like Biden was saying like, oh, like if Trump gets like he tried to say it probably was that if no, Trump got elected, it was under democracy, and they like peacefully talk with them.
Mm.
Like you should have had a picture of Trump and then flipped it over like don't believe his lies. Like whose lies? My lies? Lies are his. I can't understand.
Okay, so for Trump, what would you get for Trump?
Yeah.
Trump. What would I get for Trump? It's a great question. What can you get a man that can get whatever he wants?
Yeah.
You know?
So my
Whatever he
suggestion
wants.
was like a plate carrier that'll hold level 4 plates. That's like also like a golden Kevlar weave that has like a big like T right here. That's just like big gold, and it's just this is the best plate carrier. We tested this with everything up to 50 caliber. It'll absolutely take it, and just that would be Trump. Biden. I was making the joke earlier that we would gift him a one-way ticket to some like jungle country so he could disappear back into the jungle with his people.
Hell yeah. I can see that. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
background on Discord web.
Huh?
on the web browser, I'm not sure. So my girlfriend came up with this prompt as she sometimes does for us. Matt, there's a little background noise, I
Yeah.
think, coming from your side. If you want to mute yourself in between your chatting. So my girlfriend came up with this prompt, and she was like, "Oh, I'd really want to get Trump like a collection of like philosophical works, so he could read and know something." And I'm like, he's not gonna read it.
He's not gonna read it. Yeah, he'd have somebody read it for him and like narrate the pages.
Yeah. So this is where I was like, oh, you know what? I would have like a full golf day with Trump. I know he wants to golf, and then you could actually chat with him through the day and maybe like angle a little bit on that. I think he'd actually enjoy it, you know? I think he'd like shooting the shit. But then for Biden, yeah, I think he just wants to like live in an ice cream parlor.
Kind of, yeah. Like I think what I would
Honestly,
do with
make him
Biden.
president of an ice cream parlor. Like wake him up one day, and like it's just like, oh sir, you passed out on the floor. Are you okay? And he'll be
What
like, I thought I
president
was
of
the
the
president.
U.S.? What are you talking about? You're the GM
You're the
of our ice
manager of
cream
this
store.
Baskin Robbins.
But like, get him absolutely fucking blasted stoned first. Like he can either like actually get him to like join the smoking circle or like feed him edibles Just get him absolutely stoned, let him loose in the Baskin Robbins, tell him he's the general manager, and it's just like it's his store. Let him go. Just let him go for a day.
Or I would get Joe Biden crack.
Ooh,
Honestly,
ooh,
last Christmas
ooh.
didn't they find some crack at the
They
White
did.
House?
I think it was actually Coke. Like it was just like
Oh, it was Coke.
yeah,
Okay.
which means it was
Classier.
probably Kamala's, but we won't go there. um, but that would be Hunter and Joe could have like a father son crack session. That's what I would give. That would be very. That's a hallmark moment right there for the holidays. I think.
Dad, you've always don't give it a bad rap until you try it.
Yeah, man. You don't know. All right, Hunter. I guess we'll. Holy shit! This is fantastic. Oh, Joe Biden on crack.
What was I doing in the Senate all these years when I could have been smoking crack?
That guy from Canada sure had it right. He won re-election several times. The crack didn't bother him. I want to see Joe Biden smoking crack in his presidential suit. That's what I want to see. The most equalizing photo in the history of the United States.
I got AirPods recently,
Yeah,
so I'm trying to do like the background noise here. It's not that big of a problem.
that's better, actually.
Well, it was coming through like it was using my MacBook's mic and not my
Oh,
AirPod mics. So I
well,
think that was a part of the
that's
problem.
absolutely the problem. It just thinks you're having a conversation with several people instead of one.
I couldn't imagine being any gayer right now. Freaking
Yeah.
fine.
I
AirPods in.
just I've seen that.
I think the
So
only way you could be gayer is if you were eating a banana with a spoon. I think that's it.
yeah, I think that would literally top it. Like that would be it. So,
Oh,
dude, I
speaking of
was
being gay, did any of you see the Destiny slash alleged Nick Fuentes
So I've
drop?
heard murmurs. What exactly happened? What
I
pull it
is the
up.
rumor? Like
I can't say for certain because I only watched the video about 12 times for research.
mhm. Oh boy. Ugh.
But no,
Uh,
I didn't all I saw were like a screen crap, but it is I believe Destiny, and there's so many pictures of Fuentes and Destiny together. Which is really weird. Like, why is Destiny hanging out with like this, closeted
they
gay neo-Nazi Mexican neo-Nazi?
so gay sex is where this is going.
I think gay sex is where it was going, and Destiny, who clearly enjoys being cucked by his wife, probably just wanted to go the next step and like embrace just being, gay, or you know, anytime a guy's bi, he gets called gay. Um, but he's probably bisexual and just wants all of that going on. But Destiny's definitely was performing fellatio on somebody um, male, but whether it was Nick Fuentes or not, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure it's Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, you pull up the video and play it really fast and see.
Oh.
It was dude, it was just AI, bro. Don't even worry about it.
The the discourse and the cope that's been coming from all of the fans of these respective people, it makes a lot more sense about Nick Fuentes when you realize that he was probably just a blackmailed, gay fed this entire time.
Yeah.
Blackmailed?
Oh my god. Okay. All right. I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess I mm.
Sorry, I
Let's
might have
check and see
derailed this
about it.
conversation too much.
No, I'm just I, there are so many like unmarried single dudes on the right wing side like Nick Fuentes. He's not married, is he?
No,
Okay.
I think he's a
So
virgin.
Oh
like
no.
Dan Blazarian, Andrew Tate, like all these dudes who are like not married and they don't have like girlfriends that anybody can really see, and it's like okay. And then you have Nick Fuentes getting exposed possibly in this shit, and it's like, huh. I wonder what else is happening.
What was the thing? It was Andrew Tate? Some Twitter posted like a year or so ago. I was like, "Who's going to be one of one of our bros that do this?" It's like I couldn't imagine posting anything gayer.
I mean, that could
Oh
be
yeah,
like,
I
they
can't
were
remember the
making
Twitter
fun of
post. It was
wife
like,
guys.
"What would you do with one of those?"
They were like, oh, it was him, I think, and
Hey,
Fuentes. Um, and they were both like, it's so cucked to be like a wife guy. Like if you like your girlfriend or your wife, you're basically
love
gay.
my wife.
And
oh,
like the
Fuck that.
replies were like,
That
fellas, is it
tracks.
gay to be into women?
hmm. Is it gay to be into women? Oh,
Get these to a room already.
I
Like,
suppose
uh,
that's next is the Andrew Tate gay sex leak. That's like all we're missing at this point.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
let's do the AI right now.
I think at a certain point you have to wonder if anybody prominent on the right wing does not have some form of sexual blackmail against them.
Well, you could make the argument that anybody who rises above any sort of celebrity point or line has to have dirt on themselves in order to be able to play the game at large.
Yeah, it's to be controlled. Like I mean the Diddy stuff, and it's like who did Diddy upset at the end of the day that this all came out? Or was it just like this like the hotel, like him chasing the woman down the thing and they couldn't hide that any longer?
Was it? I don't remember who posted it or who
All
sent it,
that.
but there was something on like an episode of Joe Rogan where Joe Rogan was talking about how Jamie Foxx has like an upcoming Netflix like comedy special or something. And
Mhm.
during this special, Jamie Foxx is like, yeah, Diddy is the reason I was hospitalized, so I'm the one who called the FBI on him. Supposedly. And even Joe was like, he's not sure if like it's like him actually saying this happened or he's making a joke just to like make the audience laugh, and that's not actually what happened. So it's like, okay, all right, I
I mean,
guess we'll see.
Jamie, people were speculating he had like a vaccine reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was why he was like out for several months. But like he got off of like several huge projects, and then like he had all these announced projects, and then was like had some health issue. They wouldn't mention what it was, and
Yeah.
he was on hiatus for like I don't know 4 or 5 months or something like that. And now he's back in the game,
Diddy
right?
was? Who was?
No, Jamie
Jamie
Foxx.
Foxx.
If I was okay, I was
Um,
like,
now but the thing is, like Jamie Foxx, he's still in with Tarantino, who's still in with like the Weinstein Company.
Mm-hmm.
Tarantino fee guy.
Um,
So
Your boy,
see what?
Matt's boy.
Tarantino, the feet guy,
Feet Gang, rise
the
up.
guy right there. Feet.
This post brought to you by Feet Gang.
Maybe we get my wife's toes are out, so
Oh
I'll
yeah.
cut this short.
Let's see what
Hey,
else did we
so
have in the joke section. Hunter's pardon didn't really come up that much. What should Hunter do with his pardon? What would you do with your pardon, with
Oh
your
man.
Christmas pardon?
Oh
get a
god.
gun.
Get a gun. Yeah.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Redacted.
I
I would just get
love
a
that his
gun.
pardon goes all the way back for anything he did between now and 2014.
Oh, curious.
You know, just when
What
he
happened in
started working
2014?
on the board of Burisma.
Exactly, huh?
No, it's
Convenient.
still funny to me. Like I try to like just casually mention like, oh yeah, you know the vice president's son who was at the time addicted to crack got a 6-figure monthly
At the
job.
time,
Well, currently, I mean, I guess once you're an addict, you're
he
always an
was like,
addict, right? That's one of the
yeah,
steps of AA. But yeah, that some guy who's like actively gets cracked out. Um, he's getting paid 6 figures a month from a Ukrainian oil or natural gas company immediately following a U.S. backed coup in Ukraine, and we start funneling weapons to them to the tunes of now billions and billions of dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
we're at the brink of a proxy war with Russia. And it's like nobody like this isn't a thing like people bring up like every single day. Like, come on.
Could you
What?
imagine if there was some obvious connection like this with George W. Bush and like his like let's say he had a son Hunter's age who was involved in that shit and like it was public knowledge. Can you imagine like the nightly multi-hour fucking news segments they would have covering this shit and just exposing it from various angles?
Oh yeah, I mean, just like the art scams and shit like that
Yeah,
too.
man, like obvious fucking money laundering. And it's just, man, it's just people make controversial art and people want to own it. You can't really put a price on it, but we put a price of 150 million because it's clearly worth that much. Like we have a
I love
professional
how
art
this
appraiser, and he said it's worth that much. He has a degree in art, man. Like you can't. He's an expert.
I love that this like has become like more public knowledge because like I'll go to the comment section of like new art display in some city revealed cost the or like some resort or some rich person bought this piece of art for $22 million, and all the comments, you go into the comments, everybody's like money laundering, money
Money
laundering,
laundering, money
money
laundering.
yeah,
Good,
that's
yeah,
all it is. Everybody realizes like a banana taped to the fucking wall with duct tape. He's laundering money.
exactly.
Yeah, it's painfully obvious.
But I guess maybe a better question would be, how do we get in on this?
The question would be what?
How do we get
Well,
in on
we
it?
need some startup capital or something like that.
We do, yeah. I mean, we just got to get creative, I guess, is like the first thing. And we got to find some like wealthy shadow investor to come in and like buy it up. Like some patron of the arts. He's like, yeah, Matt, I need you to draw me a foot. Like your favorite foot. Just draw it right now. And he'll pay you $20 million for it. And like, you just don't
Maybe.
ask.
I guess. Yeah, bro,
You
I
know,
got it.
the abstract art is a money laundering scheme because when rich people actually commission art, it's stuff like Bill Clinton wearing high heels, like
Exactly.
Jeffrey Epstein had
High
in his
heels and
house.
Monica Lewinsky's blue dress.
They
Jesus
hire a
Christ.
real artist to do real art.
Or it's a picture of James Gandolfini with a horse, who also kind
Somebody
of looks
says
like
sound check.
Napoleon.
Is that for Matt?
Let's see.
Hmm?
I can hear him
Death
okay.
Trolota says sound check. I don't know.
Volume.
What happened? What did I do?
Normal, not muted.
What happened?
It's what would an episode be without a
What?
sound problem?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have plenty of sound problems.
Yeah. I like that nice abstract
Yeah.
art in the background you have there, Matt. That is worth
That's pretty good.
That's $50 million right there. Can you believe that?
I didn't know you had
No, I
such
gotta
rich
dip it.
taste.
Yeah, so that's me, dude. It pairs well with the line. But yeah,
Excellent.
I gotta cut. I got other shit I gotta do. I just want to pop in really
Fair
quick.
enough.
You sure
You
that's
have a good
wine,
night,
not
sir.
adrenochrome?
Oh no, he's
Try to. Cheers.
he's
Cheers.
good night there.
I'll go put a foot in my.
Oh yeah. Oh man, Matt's on his way to make his sixth kid right now. Fifth. Was he on fifth?
Dude, who keeps count?
I
after
know.
4?
Four. It's just like,
Like-
oh, there's another one. All right, shit, whatever. Go sleep in the barn. There's fresh hay.
Well, I was thinking about like, oh, I've got a dog now, and I was walking it on this afternoon hike, this beautiful sunset hike, and I saw this lady cross my path, and she had 3 dogs, and it's like, once you got one dog, like, it's not a big deal to have another dog. You're just feeding it more. You just have another bowl with dog chow, and you go on the same amount of walks. You don't have to take double the amount of walks per dog or whatever, right? And kids are kind of the same. Like somebody made the joke at one point. Is like, once you're on your 3rd kid, you're fucked anyways. Like, like just keep going.
Might as well. Eventually, the
And
kids will get
they
old
start-
enough where they can help you raise more kids.
No,
It's
they
kind
start
of like
raising each other because, like, if they're within 2 years of each other, like, they're best friends. And You
Exactly.
don't even have to pay attention to them.
it's an infinite loot hack kind of because it just keeps propagating itself and like your loot like will take care of itself. It's foolproof. It's absolutely foolproof, and we should give people tax breaks based on that.
Now, the fertility crisis, they haven't been able to figure out how to fix it
Mm.
in most countries. They offer tax breaks.
Mm.
They offer, child care, stuff like that.
State-sponsored anime that suggests that it's a good idea for a boy and a girl to make a baby. That works a little bit.
But what has worked is status.
Mm.
And if you were to like have and this would work better in like a small European country or whatever. But like imagine in Hungary, if every woman who had like over 4 children got like a 5-minute interview on like national TV.
Mm.
Do you know what the birth rate would do or something like that?
They
So
explode.
it was a compelling idea. But like there's people were making fun of. Did you see the PhD thesis from that girl get lampooned? Oh man, find it. It was like the politics of smell in prose.
What?
Yes, here we go. Cambridge teacher earns PhD with thesis on politics of smell. Her achievement leaves the internet divided.
Politics of smell.
The olfactory ethics, the politics of smell in modern and contemporary prose. Dr. Ali Lukes. I'm going to share screen on this.
Spell the last name.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell her? Actually, we'll see in a second. Hang on.
Yeah.
Dr. Ali
Louks.
Okay.
Is it streaming yet?
Yeah, it's working. We got it up. Particularly in relation to homelessness, drawing on George Elwell's works and other popular
intersection and wide-ranging of olfactory oppression by establishing underlying logic that facilitates smell's application in creating and subverting gender, class, sexual, and racial and species power structures. Anyways, I want to see this tweet again because the replies were absolutely brutal.
Amazing how you've got this completely dead ass backwards. It's physicians that need.
But anyways, like, I think there were some comments about like, what is this person doing? Getting a PhD? She should be on her like 5th child or something like that. Like,
she should be pregnant and barefoot in someone's kitchen right now.
And like America, like what's wrong with American men that they're not compelling enough, or British men that they're not compelling?
That is actually an issue in the West right now. Like nobody's dating anybody.
Yeah, no, I think the dating market's completely broken.
Yeah,
and this person who I'm guarantee, would have been happier not getting a PhD in underwater basket weaving.
Olfactory oppression. Olfactory oppression is the new term that I will use to replace underwater basket weaving. It's time. We've needed an update for that for a while now. Olfactory oppression.
Olfactory ethics.
Olfactory ethics. Thank you. Okay, yes, but that's even better.
Prose.
Oh my God. Oh, that's some heavy dope. Jesus. All right. Oh man.
Oh. So, yeah. Anyways, it's. I'm not saying that women shouldn't pursue academic.
No, they absolutely should, but they should do it for like important shit, like shit that will benefit the human race. Not like, oh, you think people should wash their ass? You're repressing them. It's like, no, wash your fucking ass, man. Like that's what this comes down to.
What did he mean by he smelled like shit?
It means he smelled like shit.
He smelled like shit.
Oh no, he was making a comment about the underclass. And no, he was saying he smelled like fucking shit, man.
What did
Oh,
Charles Dickens mean? He's getting paid by the word. Okay? He's going to describe how this person smells because he's getting paid by the word.
oh.
That's why fucking it's so long. Yeah, anyways, there a lot of ink and paper and resources and
And
people's thoughts
tens
were
of
dedicated to
thousands of
something like this.
dollars, tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Probably she is in for this,
No, at
unless
Oxford, probably hundreds of
yeah,
thousands.
unless she has
Uh,
super wealthy parents that were able to fund this, which again doesn't actually like change a whole lot because that's also the whole reason why something like this is allowed to happen. It's either we're going
Sorry,
into
Cambridge, not Oxford. Sorry.
Cambridge, Oxford. It's that level. So it's probably is comped by public tax dollars to some degree. Everything else probably is comped by mom and dad. So either way, there's just all of this hundreds of thousands of dollars being dumped into olfactory ethics.
It's her parents. Here's the thing: is like her parents are probably middle class, and they don't know that like this has been a huge like they
She
boomer parents were kind of the opinion get a degree, get any degree, it'll be good for you. Oh, you're getting a PhD, this is awesome. You know, you're gonna be like a great academic and everything like that. Here I can stop the stream. I don't need
I
to
was actually going to
continue.
say she kind of has like you've heard of like low income white girl eyes, that meme, correct?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
would say she's actually got like upper middle class white girl eyes. Like she's got
No, that's the thing. Her parents are probably like middle class, upper middle class.
yeah,
They can't afford it. But the thing is they didn't realize like if they actual like rich people, 1% wealthy like aristocracy in the UK. This is the UK, by the way.
mhm.
Um, so it's pounds instead of dollars, whatever, same difference. But they don't send their kids to Cambridge to get PhDs in olfactory ethics.
Could
Their
you
kids
imagine
just
like
go
she
get
didn't
married to other rich kids
yeah.
and they live on yachts in the Mediterranean.
Oh, your daughter
Um,
has a PhD in olfactory ethics. That's interesting. My daughter married the new young Duke of York. They're currently on a super yacht off the shore of Monticello,
you're skiing in Switzerland.
skiing in
Um,
Switzerland. Or oh God,
This is the thing, like the illusion of college has been to all these people, and it's a shame. It's just a huge waste of resources. It would have been one thing if she'd been an engineer or a
yeah,
doctor or something like that, where it's like, you know,
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
you're doing great surgeries, or you're
Mm,
really helping people, or you're fighting cancer, or you're like,
mm.
doing some awesome, physics, you're finding fusion energy or some
Or
stuff,
you're doing something
building
that's still
spacecraft.
a little bit more academic, like you're an archaeologist or you're something like that, and you're just like, oh, we published an interesting paper about like we think we're moving the timeline back for like a certain like evolutionary step in like human evolution, and we're just like,
Oh,
oh, we have this documented skeleton. It's really interesting. It
well,
shows
that'd
what
be more anthropology, but
or
than
anthropologist, but
archaeology. But
excuse me,
yeah,
yes.
but
But like something like that would be like, all right, yeah, it's olfactory ethics, man. Like, come on, dude.
no, yeah, be if you want to do like social sciences, yeah, be like a historian at least. I don't
Sure,
even
yeah. You could be that
this
person
is
on the History
an
Channel, and they're just
economist.
like olfactory expert, and they're just like, yeah, back in the day, people used to smell all sorts of shit, and just you could be that person on the History Channel. That'd be okay. But olfactory ethics, like,
I mean, it's a combination of like a philosophy degree, right? Because it's ethics.
exactly
I and
anatomical
prose,
ethics.
which is like literature. So it's like philosophy and literature,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds cool on a surface level, but it's like, oh, what are we discussing about philosophy and literature? I mean, I'm sure that's the thing, like after 100 years everybody's discussed like Faust to death and everything. um
Missile launch says, bro, she's standing up for gamers. Leave her alone. Oh, we are so mistaken. You're absolutely right, Missile launch. Oh man,
Go to an anime convention and you'll retract your entire
yeah.
thesis.
Oh God. Oh. Well, is there anything else we want to cover for tonight? I think we touched all the topics. I think we even got graced by Matt a little bit. That was nice.
Yeah, that was exceptional. I'm so glad he had a swift flight and
Yeah.
all of that TRT quickly regrew his beard.
Yeah, for real.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
Yimra still needs to provide us with an alibi.
exactly. He has also been a little absent on Tumblr, if we're going to be honest. Like he's
I
been
I reblogged something from him today, but
like some
you
like
know,
normal reblogs, but not his normal manic self. Like I'm not seeing all of like the I should smoke crack and order McDonald's posts. Like I haven't seen anything like that from him recently. So clearly he's been
he's
occupied.
present or he's there, but he's not present.
Exactly.
You know
So
what I
maybe
mean?
he's got a queue stacked. Who knows? Spread out to make it look like he's actually reblogging, or really he's like army crawling through a sewer.
Mm, he's doing his Green Mile or whatever.
Exactly. Uh, well, ladies and
Out,
gentlemen,
out, out of the New Jersey sewers, gonna emerge right in Tony Soprano's back pool.
it just it starts raining as soon as he comes out, and he's like, uh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another excellent episode of The Altar. Who knows what fucking shit will happen in another week, because it seems like most of this actually did happen this week. Like it all started Tuesday, really, and just past couple of days. So, but as always, this is actually one thing I did want to bring up in closing. Um, there was almost a coup in a country. There was an assassination on the streets of Manhattan. There was a massive presidential pardon that's like so blatantly corrupt that it's just like undeniable. Are we all still getting up and going to work the next day? Yes, we are. So as usual, nothing ever happens. And also, as usual, taxation is theft. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe.